Hello there, survivors, and welcome back to another stream here on my channel. Today, we're back on ARK Survival Ascended, jumping in to Genesis to build something brand new, because we finally have ocean platforms, so I feel like it's about time to do some building on them. And I think I did a poll like a little while ago, and I think the winner was a pirate ocean platform base, which seems like a pretty nice one to do, because the wooden one, I feel like that fits a pirate style a bit better. Isn't too big, but I think it's definitely big enough to make a decently sized base, and we'll at least try to make sure that we have like an integrated water tame and underneath. I think that's going to be one of the main features we'll want to go for. And then of course we'll see where that takes us. I don't think we'll actually attach the shipyard to it. We could technically, of course, do that, but I think that's gonna overshadow it, because that thing is big. That shipyard is very, very big, but I guess you could always really easily attach it if you want to. But yeah, let's see if we can have some fun. I think we're gonna do a combination of just the normal wooden textures. The Frontier skin, I think, is going to be quite helpful. A few things from the new Tides of Fortune skin, of course, as well as I think the Wasteland skin might actually be helpful in this one for that like shanty town feeling. That's what I think, at least. We'll see what ends up being the best skin, or like the best combination. But for now, we have an empty canvas, and I'm actually debating whether I should keep it at 1 or maybe I should have 2. I guess we'll start building, and once we kind of get a feeling for the shape and the whole build, we'll see. But I feel like having 2 of them will allow us to have a little bit of a more usable water pen at the very least. So I think that might be a good thing. Not sure where the sun is currently hiding. There it is. So yeah, I don't know. Let's see. Let's get a bit more sun in here, because I always like to check the sun direction basically for where I'm building this. Then I can make a nice screenshot of it later, which is very important, of course. So yeah, I think this could be a good option. I mean, that gives us a pretty decent size to work with, right? Like, we're probably not going to use all of this for the building itself, but definitely should offer us plenty of space like this. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see what we end up making and what it ends up looking like, but pretty sure we can make something quite nice. Now, there's no ladders on this thing by default, so we'll definitely want to kind of keep that into consideration. We'll need to build a few ways to actually get onto this thing. Quite important. So yeah, I think that is going to be one of the things. And then underneath, if we want to build a water pen, I guess we just kind of need to build a box underneath the current structure so that it's secure if you want to leave some water tames in there and want to keep them safe. And other than that, I guess the main thing is going to be building something cool, something piratey, and we'll see what that's like. I've got a bunch of builds pieces in my inventory because I have been building. I've actually just finished another build that is quite cool, but we'll see where that goes. We'll see where that goes. We'll see what the flow of the build will be like, if we have what it takes. All right, so I think this is going to be kind of like a shanty town feeling. We might do a little bit of shipwrecks, like I did my little day 1 starter base tutorial video. Then we built like part of a ship. We could have similar elements to that, but I think we also want to do more of this shantytown feeling, and of course just make sure that we have an actually decently sized base that you could use long term. Although I do think that just, you know, having this whole entire platform will probably already give you a decent amount of space. Now, I've never played Genesis 1, so I'm not actually familiar with these platforms. So before I do any building, let me do some sciencing. Can you build things directly on top of it? Oh, you can. Okay, that's good. So you don't necessarily need to kind of have foundations or ceilings all over the place to make it work, I guess. You can just straight up place things down on here, which is definitely good. I think it feels quite logical to have kind of the main structure here in the middle, but I'm not quite sure. Let's see, how wide would that be? That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so that would be 6 to get across. That's good to know. Yeah, you can snap ceilings all over the sides of the platform. So yeah, you can just fill in the gaps if you wanted to. We're not going to start with that, but most likely we'll probably at least cover one of them. I don't know when the video will be out for this build because I have not made the build yet. That will have to happen first before I can know when it will be a video. All right, let's see. I think, yeah, the main kind of shape of the building will one in the middle, and we can potentially build a little bit off to both sides to make it a little bit more messy and more like a shanty town, which I think is what we want. So I think we're gonna go 3 high pillars here, and first of all, we're just gonna kind of shape out the builds before we do anything. Hello there, welcome in, welcome in. So yeah, I think just having those as guidelines is gonna give me some kind of idea of what the shape of the building will be. There we go. Let's see. I guess we just kind of start shaping up builds. Hello there, Crimson. Welcome in, welcome in. I don't want to start with this roof because first of all, we need to kind of know what the sides are going to be like. So I think what we're going to do is add an extra pillar in here, and then maybe add like a little side building here that we can turn into like a nice little shack or something. Maybe I don't even need the pillar necessarily. How did that pillar keep floating? Do I do this? Because I kind of think that if we want to have like a shanty feeling building, these roofs can actually be quite good, especially since we can break them up like that. And I think that's going to be quite nice to make it feel more like a proper shanty town. So for example, I think we're just going to start making shapes, and then we're going to slowly detail them as we go. There we go. See, that is a pretty decent shape. And then that would of course be ceilings, because that's inside of the building now. For now, I'm just going to add the walls. If I want to texture them in any different way, we'll see later on. But yeah, we'll get some decent build going. Yeah, I think if we just give this a little bit of shape, there's just going to be like a little shack to the side of the building. And I like those broken pieces quite a bit, so I might actually make it a little bit more broken even. There we go. Like the way that looks, and I might even expand this a little bit more because I think this would be a good place to utilize like one of these things. Maybe the bounty board would be a really nice one there, because that of course adds a bunch of details to the walls, but it also just looks pretty nice. And I think maybe adding frontier skins to this would look quite nice. There we go. And potentially I think this could be a door, just to kind of have like a side entrance to this building, I suppose. And then I definitely like these doors a lot, so we'll go for that one. Tree house. Yeah, you can definitely just build that anywhere if you don't want to live in a tree. There we go. I mean, it's just a little start, but I quite like the idea of having that little shed and the bounty board there. Let's fill that in a little bit. I guess we could maybe fill in like half of this just to get this started. Very nice. And I guess then the question is what the rest of this building is going to look like, but in theory, maybe there could be like a little balcony up here, because that would add another interesting shape to the building. Yes, very much. I mean, technically, is there anything stopping me from doing that? I don't think so. Okay, good. Maybe I can even remove these roofs here, because and it makes more sense to just utilize this part. Awesome. Yeah, you can easily, because even if it wouldn't fit inside, you could place the forge on the platform itself. Like, it will probably still have a decent space outside of the building. So I don't think you need to worry about things not fitting in this build. Probably gonna be big enough. Let's see. So these are gonna have to be raised up a little bit more so that it makes a bit more sense. There we go. Yeah, by adding this, we've already broken up the side a little bit, but we definitely need to do that a little bit more. So for now, I'm just going to fill in that wall. And then, for example, if we want to do even more details, I don't like snapping it because then it kind of goes through the wall. Yeah, adding like the marketplace there, that also really helps adding more life to the build, because I don't know why, but there's so much details on these market stalls that there's a lot of life to it. Always needs a shark statue, yeah, any build does, but we have shark tables. The marketplace is mostly useful if you play on servers, because then you can trade with other people. You can basically offer things for sales for hexagons and trade with other people on your server. Do I want to change all of this to those? I do like this wood a lot more, so I probably will change all of the floors. So let's just go ahead and do that. It's unfortunate we can't change those parts, so those will have to stay the way that they are. Yeah, I do like that a little bit more. Yeah, I mean, this corner is already looking nice. We definitely need a lot more, but it's a start. It's definitely a start. Okay. So we have a gap of 6 in here. And we will see what kind of roof. Because I kind of want to round out this roof a little bit. Almost, well, not really like a ship. Maybe I actually have to flip these around. That might be the better look. Then we can get them looking more similar to each other. But I feel like if we kind of do like a rounded shape on the roof, it could almost be like the hull of a ship. Or at least kind of give that impression. Which could be quite nice. Probably will want the overlaps. Yeah, and then if we keep these upside down, look, the upside down ones just kind of match each other color-wise a bit more. So I think that's the next layer that we want to go for. There we go. And then for the top layer, it's going to be just ceilings again upside down because the textures will match each other a bit more. Oh, there we go. Yeah, that kind of gives us a kind of like curved shape, and I think we're gonna maybe even extend this a bit further, which will definitely help with the whole depth of the place. There we go. Yeah, that gives kind of a nice curve to it. It's a bit wide, but I guess that's because it's 6. I think we can work with that. We probably want to break it up in places as well. You know, kind of interrupt it. Don't have it be just one thing. But I think that looks quite nice to begin with. And then I guess we can also kind of start to think about what this side will look like. Well, that's going to be quite easy because that can just be like that. I mean, we can just kind of build it in like this. I don't know if that's the best look for it. I mean, to be fair, we don't even necessarily need everything to be Frontier, because the normal pillars kind of have a nice vibe as well for the piratey feeling build. But that's definitely a start. But I feel like we want a little bit more. I think I might move this shed to the other side of the building. And I want something a little bit bigger coming out of this side. So I think what I'm going to do is just add a little bit of a walkway on this side. And then do I do it like this? Yeah, I feel like the shape itself was fine. That's going to be the entrance then. I guess we'll have to see if we still want the bounty board if it's on this side, or whether we want to keep that in the same corner, because that is going to be kind of the main like orchard or whatever of the build, I think. So I think this is going to be the main water pen where you have more access to the water. Yeah, we can open up those a little bit, and then if we skin up these parts, we can get that similar feeling back. So we have that little shed here. And I think here on this side, honestly, yeah, as I said, I think this is going to be the one that focuses on getting into the water pen. So we probably want to have like access into the water here, so that we can easily get inside. Does it make any sense to have this here? Can I walk here? No, that's already too deep. I mean, I guess what we could do instead is having some of those, but then we're not quite in the water yet. Are we? No, we are kind of in the water. Of course, the waves kind of change it, but I feel like this is nice because then you can kind of walk into it, but you can still walk. You still have some items here. There we go. Let's see. Just like that. And I think it makes sense to have this going across. There we go. So yeah, this will be the side where we'll actually have the access point into the water pen, so that you can have your games there, do your breeding down there and everything. And we're just gonna make that look quite nice and accessible. Yeah, the platforms seem quite nice for building. I've never played it on ASA or ACE, so I don't really know how different they are. That's a bit strange because I can't really snap that in the way that I would want. Maybe if I use this one. There we go, that's the right snap point. I guess I don't really want to have the railings here though, because then I can't really access it. I guess there would be fine. There we go. And then we probably want to have the railings around these edges. Awesome. So yeah, that's going to be your access point into the water pen. I guess if we really wanted to, we maybe could open one of these up, then add like a rope ladder. Just because it looks quite cool. And then we have an extra way out of the water. I mean, this is pretty, seems pretty reasonable. Like, you have your access point. That means we can technically cover the other side up if we wanted to or needed to. But at least it's a good start, I think, for these platforms. I think that will work. And then thinking I might just add a window here. And then this one. Will we go for that one? Or actually, maybe we'll go for this one because that looks quite nice. It's the vibe. And then we might as well actually add in the door itself too. Yeah, definitely those doors are nice. Yeah, this side we're going to change up then because we kind of move that over to the other side, which means we can take it away over here, and it leaves us a bit more space to do something a bit more I kind of want to do something a little bit cooler here, which also means I think I'm gonna, for now at least, make that balcony a bit smaller. And we'll see how we'll integrate that with each other. But for now, we can fill on that side. There we go. Yeah, we have a little balcony, and we'll see how big it gets depending on what we end up building here on this side. But I feel like, yeah, we need something. What? Did she just pop in there to say that? Okay, let's see. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 6 over here. I kind of want to build out like this. Maybe. That would nicely break up this part of the build, I think. Let's see. Yeah, we can build that across. Do I want to also build this across? I don't know, actually. I mean, that would make for a nice look, I suppose. I mean, I guess we can kind of integrate these buildings with each other this way. I think we can figure that out. I mean, not too difficult, actually. We're playing ARK Survival Ascended. There we go. So yeah, we kind of blend those together, and I guess if we wanted to do that here, I mean, it actually would just be the same, wouldn't it? Just two of those corners makes a hole without having to overlap anything. And then I think these roofs, again, we're going to use those textures on, because then we can add some nice gaps and embrace the shantytown feeling of them all. And this is kind of a nice contrast with the other building. Let's see though, because do we add some detail to this? Because we could just have scaffolding to support the sides. We probably want to make sure that this is all looking as nice as it can be. So potentially I'm going to have some bigger supports here. Not sure what we're going to use them for. Is that a thing I want though? Might be too much. We'll see. Yeah, we could do this, and then but that might be a bit too thick for this small build. I don't know if there's a structure limit. I think you can place 4 platforms together. And then you can just build whatever the limit is on the server you're playing on. I think. I haven't really ran into the limit yet. We're not that far along. Let's see. Also, let's expand this a bit further, just so that we don't run out of space here. maybe build like a little entrance like this. That could work. All right, let's see. So then we would just kind of fill in those sides as well as these sides in here. Awesome. Okay. And then potentially we could just do this. Then everything is connected, or what probably is more reasonable is to go for this one. Just to make a small little entrance, and that way we add a lot of layers on this side, which I quite like the idea of that. Perfect. And then we'll have, I think we want to have a double door in here. Awesome. I don't know how you build them in survival. I assume you have to use the shells. There we go. I think that's a pretty nice look, and we definitely want to go for that as a door. I think for this part of the structure at least, we'll change those to frontier. And then I think we'll keep the entrance as normal wood again. So I quite like the look of that. What's this looks like? That actually fits too. No, that's too industrial, so we don't want to do that. But that in general is not a bad look. I quite like the look of that. And then that could be a nice little in-between detail. And then we can still have some supports, of course, for the layer up there. We definitely want to change these because I just prefer the frontier wood for ceilings. There we go. Yeah, I'm much happier with this choice so far. Let's just destroy that up a bit, just to make that all a little bit nicer. More like a proper shanty town. I mean, technically what I could do here is just make sure that this balcony that we already have here is kind of just interconnected with both layers, which might be a pretty good decision. There we go. I guess then this is where the door would be. There we go. Perfect. So nice door, and change those structures. So yeah, now the balcony just kind of leads to that place. It kind of connects the two layers. Okay, there we go. Not too bad. Awesome. There we go. Yeah, we'll definitely have to see like which walls we want to skin and which ones we don't, but I feel like feel like this is a pretty good start here for this place on this side of the build. Now we just need to figure out the top layer. I guess if we really want to, we could open that up a little bit and then just fix it on the outside, because that would allow us to save on these structures and instead just have those. Might be the better call. There you go. Break that up again. And then we'll definitely need to figure out something on that wall over there, but in here, this should be totally fine. We can line that up. Kind of think that this might just be without skins, maybe to keep it consistent. We'll do that here too then. Go. And maybe we'll just have the bottom layer here from here. Then we'll add a little bit of the beam going across. We want to have a door there in the middle. That makes the most sense, I think. Really should add a few of these pieces on my hotbar. That will save me a lot of time going back and forth. There we go. So yeah, over here, we just want to make an entrance for the doorway. Then we have the double doorway. Oh, I forgot I put this on my hotbar. There we go. I think that's pretty good. And fill in the rest of that wall. But now I'm just going to fill that all in. And then we're probably going to have another entrance here, to be honest. Because it makes the most sense. There we go. A lot of mods and skins are broken since the update, so we'll have to wait until things get patched for a lot of them. Okay, let's see. Let's see what else we can come up with. I do still think that it would be nice to have the bounty board here somewhere, so what I might just do is fill this in like so. And then we could have the bounty board still in here. I think that looks quite nice. And then of course we can add a few extra details here and there. I always like these barrels. I feel like these barrels especially fit these pirate vibes quite well. There we go. And that can actually add a lot of character to your base, especially for these kind of like shanty, piratey feeling bases. It adds a lot, and it kind of fills up that corner in a very nice way without having to do too much or something too crazy. I'd almost want to build like a little thing like this. We can maybe move this around just a little bit. There we go. We'll make it a little bit smaller by using some of these quarters instead. I think that will look quite nice. So yeah, now we have a nice little corner for our bounty board, and if we look at this general direction, it looks quite nice. And then now that we are quite happy with this corner, I think we can add a few more details. Also, it's raining. We don't want to build in the rain. We just want to have some nice sunny skies. Let's see, because I have a bunch of decorations. As I said, I just finished building a base, and I did decorate it everywhere. So these are actually also pretty nice to add around. Feels very piratey. And then I think I had a few more things. The vessel thingies. Always looks great to have a few of those around. What else did I use? I think I also had... There we go, the fish baskets and stuff. Definitely fit the pirate vibe, right? There we go. Yeah, I think we can definitely say that this little corner is starting to look quite like a nice little base. I really wish they added a pirate flag. That would have been a very nice thing to decorate with. But unfortunately we did not get anything like that. Do I want to build like a balcony up here? It would be pretty cool. Maybe we add some stilts to support it all, because otherwise it does kind of look like it's floating a bit. There we go. Probably just want to fill those in. Double door in the middle. Awesome. And yeah, then I think we do want to have a little ledge, of course, so we'll add that around the outside here. Awesome. Then we have our railings around. Yeah, it feels silly not to have like a little flag that you could place and that waves in the wind, right? That would have been so cool. But hopefully one of the custom cosmetics might still add something like that. I feel like I'd like to have a bit more kind of character to the roof. So maybe if we do like something like this, it'd be nice. I mean, that looks quite nice, I think. Could even consider, of course, using one of those. Maybe I'll have those on here, since it's like a little bit of a shack that we attach to the main building. Hello there, welcome in, welcome in. There we go. Yeah, I think this is looking quite nice with the little shanty building that we added. Now, I think what I'll do here, just because I think it might be a nice extra feature, I think we might actually just open up a little gap in here so that you could still see your water tames even on this side. And then I think we'll fill in the rest. Oh, that's not where that's supposed to go. And maybe we'll have an opening so that we can at least, even though the main side is the other side, I feel like we might as well at least have like a ladder here, just in case you wanna quickly get out on this side, right? I feel like That's probably quite smart to do. Where did my rope ladders go? There we go. Awesome. So yeah, that's a way to get back out. Then we want to kind of add those details, and I guess on that side we'll add a few more. We're building a pirate base on the ocean platforms. There we go. And I feel like around this edge, it definitely makes sense to have a few more of those. Because, well, it's closer to the water, I suppose. There we go. I mean, that's starting to look quite cozy from this angle, at least. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, for all of the wildcard skins, I wish they would add more skins for the existing structures, you know, being able to get all your utilities, the smithy and stuff, looking like the theme they've got for one of those packs. I feel like we kind of should have been getting those, but it doesn't look like we will. But hopefully. There we go. I mean, that is definitely the kind of vibe we were going for, I think. Now, what we could almost do as an extra decoration is just, of course, have a nest somewhere, and then make like a little crow's nest if you really wanted to. That's definitely something you can do. Now, I feel like we have to figure out the main building here, because, well, you'll have to. And also, I feel like we need some kind of dock as well. It will be interesting to see how far out we can build. We can build out 3. So let's say we build that up. I don't want to build that too low because of the waves. Hello there, welcome in. Yeah, that's facing a different direction than the others. So what I want to do is make sure that they will face the same way. So yeah, I think what we want to do here is just making sure that we have a little bit of a dock, basically. Yeah, I would have liked to see in the Tides of Fortune, especially since they're selling it for, like, if you think about both Tall Tales, we got 3 skins for 30, and now we're getting 1 skin for 15. So it would have been nice if we would have got to maybe the Spanish colonial set as well as a more like wooden pirate set with decorations and stuff. I feel like that would have made a lot of sense. How is this too far away from the platform? What? Is it because it's the second platform? Okay, well, it doesn't really matter too much because we already built it 3 wide. We can just keep it 2 wide, I suppose. But that is a bit crazy. But hopefully this will then be the solution. There we go. Yeah, we just want to have a nice platform off the side so that this is where you could park your little ship. We'll also make sure that we can actually get in. Actually, maybe we just want to have this end in some stairs going into the water so that you can actually get out of the water if you fall in. I guess we'll do something like this. There we go. That should at least allow us to get up the platform. And I guess you could always add more ladders to different sides, of course, if you want to have more place. Is this going to be a template? I don't know. That depends on how big it gets and if the template tool even works with the platforms. I haven't really tested that yet. All right, let's see. Now that we have this, we want to make sure that we have a nice main entrance to the base, I think. So what I think, first of all, is we want to go in by 1. Before I bring this out, and then I'll bring this out by... No, I don't actually have to bring it out by 2. Just the 1 is enough. Just to add a bit more depth to this place. So now it's a 4 wide structure. Now what I do wonder is that if I want to have a gate in here, will this even snap in the right place? Because yeah, technically there's no floor here. Am I going to have to add like a temporary floor? There we go. At least we can just add the floor there. Oh wait, maybe snapping was off. That's why it didn't snap. No, it won't snap there without having those ceilings. So we'll have to have them there at least, so that we can have a gate. There we go. And I feel like having a gate is gonna be nice, because then you can bring tames in. I don't know if you would have tames if you live out here, land tames. But I guess even a tide pub, you could bring that in. There we go. Something like this. I mean, that feels nice and shanty if I use that skin. And then I guess for the main structure, the frontier skin works quite well. Let's see. So we definitely have this. Would we raise that up all the way to the top? I don't know. Maybe. But at least we can fill those in. And then these sides, of course, would have to fill in like that. And then we can add in a little roof. Add some shape along this side. Probably want to do something like that, right? To break up, add a bit of depth to the front here. It's 3 out without walls, 2 with wall, yeah. 8 down without ceiling, 7 with ceiling. Yeah, so 7 down is when I would... So we're gonna have to build like a pen under here, right? Like if you want to have a water pen, you're gonna have to build that there. Anywho, I feel like for like a main entrance that you could use with your dinos, that feels pretty nice. We can, of course, add a few of those details in. I think doing something like this would be another really nice addition again. Just because it adds that shanty vibe. I might even add this roof again, because I actually quite like that as part of the shanty vibe. Who knew? Finally getting to use that wasteland skin a bit more. There we go. I mean, that's pretty decent entrance. And I guess that means that on this side, we would start with those. You would have that in there, and then just the slope ones over there. So now we want to make sure there's no gaps everywhere. We'll have to fill it in like that, and that actually works out for the best because that's exactly how much space there's left. But I do feel like it might be nice to have some windows in there so that at least there's a little bit of light coming in from the outside. Not much, but it's a bit, right? Like at least a little bit is going to be getting in from there. There we go. Definitely needs something still on there, whether it's just like a mast sticking out or something to give it a little bit of height, a little bit of tower on top. Yeah, I feel like we need something to give it a little peak on top. But to begin with, this corner I quite like. Like if you look at this angle, I feel like that is quite nice to look at. Feels a bit piratey. I almost feel like that these without the skins for the pirate aesthetic almost look nicer if they're not part of the building. And also these on the corner probably should be the thin ones because of the thing below it. There we go. Yeah. Okay, well, this corner definitely is done. This entrance, well, of course, there's a bunch of like little details and stuff that we probably want to add around here so that it doesn't look as empty. So, for example, as I said, adding a few of these barrels is always a good idea because it just adds a bit more depth and everything to the place. Makes it less empty and boring. I mean, I guess that's also gonna go and fill in that corner because we already have something built there. All right, let's see. And I feel like it just adds to the pirate aesthetic to have all of these random things here. And I might also want to find a way. So if you have the summer event from last year, you had all of these really nice fish trophies. And I feel like there might actually be some really nice things to add in a pirate base too. But of course, unfortunately, some of the best decor they've made you can only get if you have Summer Bash active. Well, Summer Bash will be returning soon, hopefully. And if you're hosting your own server, of course, you can just add it whenever you want. But yeah, these decor pieces are so good. And we also have the Megalodon, like, mouth skull, which is another one that definitely kind of fits this aesthetic of the pirate town. All right. Yeah, I think that corner is something that we will leave for the time being. That corner is a nice side entrance too. Now here on the inside, we have that balcony that we definitely need to do something with, as well as those. So we'll have to have a staircase somewhere up to that place. Probably also want to have at least this going up, but maybe we can just integrate it like that so that you can use that side a little bit nicer that way. And then I actually think I might add an entrance off to the side over here. So if we enable snapping, this will snap right there. Fortunately, we don't need any ceilings in place. And then I think having this here might be a really nice one, so that you can get over to the water pen quite easily. And that kind of solves the whole build for this side, because that means we can just build the rest of this in. Then we probably want to have that dividing line, because underneath that we want to skin it to the frontier skins, I think. There we go. And I guess we could even play around with the idea of having like a few of these in there. Well, it's a bit more metal-y rather than wood, but it will add with the shanty vibe for the pirate build. So it might be worth adding a few of them. Not too many, just here and there. There we go. Awesome. I guess we also need to figure something out here. Awesome. But this definitely feels like a side where I could utilize some of these trophies to decorate. Some like fishing trophies could be hung up here. Part of the decorations. Fishermen that have returned. Okay. There we go. Awesome. The new skins are fine. Skins in general, custom cosmetics are broken a little bit after the update. Damn it, why can I not? There we go. Just adding a little bit of details. Yeah, the summer event had some of the I mean, it just had decorations that you could place in the world, which we don't often get, which is a shame, because, well, they were really, really good. Okay, we'll add a few of those beams in. Yeah, I'm starting to really like that look. And now we just need something here for this side. I don't think we're going to just repeat the other side. I feel like that would make little sense. So we're going to do it slightly differently on this side, I think. Well, we're going to start in a similar way. And I just need to be careful that I don't hit the building above, but if I do something like that, that will still fit within the current shape. Awesome. I am here on the map. It's a group of little islands, basically, very small islands. And yeah, it's got these skulls around the entrances, which I thought would be a cool backdrop for my pirate ocean platform build. Let's see, because I think if this is continuing, there we go. Something like this could create a nice little shape here for the entrance. Awesome. There we go. So yeah, we create like a little bit of an archway here as an entrance, just to create a different kind of shape. There we go. Let's see, because I think that's probably going to look pretty nice as frontier skins. Awesome. Yeah, we're going to try to create a water pen underneath in a little bit once we've finished the main shape of the building here. But we should be able to do that. That's going to make building ocean bases so much easier, and especially for tutorials as well, because then you don't need to worry about the location where you build it. Because the, you know, normally you need to build up from the bottom. Now will always be the same shape. Yeah, I mean, this just creates a little bit of an interesting entrance, and I think here off the side of the building, I just maybe want to create like a little bit of a an extra area here where we can have something like this. There we go. That's probably not the right place. There you go. Maybe you can move these that are in front of the window. And then I can have them over here instead. Makes a little bit more sense. Have them there. And I'm just adding random decor. Like, if you're using this as a base, you might have more crafting stations on the outside too, you know, to make it more useful. I mean, because I guess having like a little place where you could be working would be quite nice. Yeah, we'll snap to the edges of the platform. Like, there's no foundations. I haven't placed down any foundations for this build. Okay, let's see. For the shape of the building, we're just gonna follow along with those. There we go, perfect. Fill in the top bit. And then I guess those could be windows again. Awesome. It gives us quite a nice shape. And I guess it does make sense to have a little addition here just to make it stand out a bit more. I think at least for this roof, we're going to use the the wasteland ones again to make it a bit more like a shanty town feeling. There we go. The railings, I don't know if that would... That's definitely overlapping, isn't it? I don't know if you're able to do that on official settings, at least. There we go. At least that adds some layers over here to the side of the building, or the back of the building. I think that looks quite nice. Let's see what else. Like, the good thing is, of course, that you can literally, like, depending on what you want, like, you could literally just have, like, crafting things on the outside should you want or need it. Like the ledger, I don't think it makes sense to have that here on the outside. Trying to see if there's anything that I could place here on the corner to kind of fill that up. Well, we could definitely have like a Rex skull somewhere. Let's focus on the front first. There we go. Very nice. Yeah, the summer mesh penguins are a bit annoying, for sure. Or maybe I add that one again, just to have a bit more variety. And then if we want, we could, of course, add like a Rex skull. We could also have one of these flags. I wish they would have actually have waving flags, like, you know, normal flags. But I guess, I mean, if you do defeat the boss, you can always add that. I don't know if that's the right spot for it. There we go. We definitely need to make the actual entrance still here. I think that's probably just going to be the door, isn't it? There we go. So there would be double door there. And then just the entrance. Awesome. So yeah, that will give us access to the building. Then what do we do here? I guess technically what we could do is something like this. There we go. Just to kind of fill up this side of the platforms, because otherwise we don't have a lot of structures built up here. So we'll just build like a little roof over here going out like that. There we go. Something like this could be quite nice. Awesome. Perfect. Well, just like that, just a little workplace that we could use for the breeding. Maybe, like, potentially we could even add, of course, some stuff here related to the breeding. Maybe we have like cryo hospital here. I still need to get a power source. We could have some of our cryos up here potentially. Not very piratey, but you know, to utilize all the spaces. I guess you could also have them down there. I don't know if the water matters. And then I guess we could kind of just have this in here to shape up the build. Make it all look a little bit nicer. There you go, that looks quite good. No, I think without any, it's probably the best. And then for this roof, we can probably go for this one. That's quite a nice shanty looking roof. And it kind of has a good contrast with all the normal wood that we've used. There we go. And it's raining. We don't want the rain. There we go. Awesome. But yeah, that just adds a bit more shape and randomness to the other side of the building so that it's not as boring to look at. I think that works quite nice. Lanterns and stuff will add that, yeah, for sure. Doesn't seem to be a build limit at the moment. Of course, there's a limit on how far you can get from the platform. But other than that, we haven't really hit any limits yet. Okay. We'll have to do a little bit of work on the inside too, of course. I don't think I want to just add a floor everywhere, because then you wouldn't be able to use any or park any bigger tames in here, which is kind of nice if we're able to do that. So I think what we're going to do is just something like this. And then potentially, of course, you could always add more floors at the top if you really needed to. And I guess we also want to make sure that we have some space for the staircase. There we go. All right, so that's an easy way to get up there. And then we can, of course, also make sure that this looks quite nice on the inside. There we go. So yeah, you still have a bit of space here if you want to have some of your bigger tames inside. Or you can use, of course, this for your crafting and stuff, because it's definitely also big enough to have the bigger utilities. So, for example, this one being here. Oh, still have no power. And that's just about right there. Yeah, so you can even have those easily. So I'm not going to decorate the whole inside at the moment. And then, yeah, if you want to, you can definitely add some bedrooms up here, because we have enough room. I'm not going to attach the shipyard. You could if you needed to, but it's so big that it would take away from everything that we've built. Like, it would instantly kind of look quite silly if we have that. I do have it somewhere. Of course, because you need to find a place. But yeah, there's definitely, I mean, you can easily add it. If that's your concern, you can easily add the shipyard next to it. But kind of, it's just as big as everything we've built. So I think it looks a bit silly if we add that right away. So for now, I won't add that. But you definitely can if you want to. Okay, let's see. So we have the rough inside layout for the base. We already have, of course, some separate rooms as well, because this could easily be a bedroom. And we have a little space on this place. We can build an extra bedroom if we needed to. We have a nice workplace outside here. We have access to the ocean here. We have a dock on the front. if you do bring out dinos to this ocean platform, you can have them inside the base. We have plenty of space also for later game to add like a teleporter and stuff. So that's all looking quite nice. Of course, you could add railings around the entire platform. I don't know if you'd want to, but you definitely could. And maybe have some extra ladders if you fall off the wrong side. Like here, probably you would want to have some kind of way up to the platform again, right? Just so that you wouldn't have to swim all the way around. So maybe we'll at least over here build like another little staircase. Maybe not as big as the other side, but at least have something where we would have a way up. I definitely also want to change all the ceilings, the same as inside, because the ceilings definitely like those more with the frontier skins. Awesome. I guess that also means that we could probably randomize the front here a little bit if we wanted to. There we go. Awesome. Do I want to have a bit more colors in there just to add a bit more structure? Yeah, I think that looks just a bit nicer. Yeah, the shipyard is very, very big. The shipyard is quite crazy. Still think a tower could be nice, but I don't know why you would have a tower there. You wouldn't really use it, probably. I think the main concern first is going to be a water pen underneath, because that is definitely something you're gonna want to do. If you build an ocean platform base, I feel like that's what you want to do, right? I think what I also want to do, have the scaffolding and kind of make sure that this looks a bit more like it's being held up. I think that could be quite nice, just like that. We could even bring that over here to the other side. There we go. Yeah, the ships are pretty big, but a ship you could easily park here as well. You've already made it. And if you need the shipyard, you can just snap it to it. So like in survival, you can do whatever you want, of course. All right, underneath, I probably should be building this out of stone, should I at least? Because realistically, if you're gonna do this, you don't want this to be destroyed too easily. So we're probably gonna wanna do that. Okay, I'm gonna have to bring some snap points down. A lighthouse, yeah. Just a lighthouse on the top. I feel like those pillars coming down are going to be exactly in the sides of the building. That's probably what we want. Because I think you kind of just want to build walls between these things. Oh, these have no collision. Okay, that's good to know. Yeah. There we go. Comes down over there. I guess it kind of depends on what kind of tames you want. Of course, it's quite easy to make it bigger. I don't think that's going to be the issue. You can just make it however big you want it to be. Did I? Oh yeah, I build up. I don't need to go up. All right, so this is 6 wide, isn't it? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. No, it's 8 wide. All right, that's good to know. Yeah, I think the next stage probably just building that, because now, yeah, there's no way to get through that anymore. And then for the entrance, cellar door. I guess we kind of want to build at least out of stone tiered things in the water, just if anything is following you around. That way you'll be safe. So this is a 5x5. That might be a little bit big for what I'm building, but you could, of course, do that if you wanted to. Could have 2 entrances. There you go. I guess that's kind of the vibe you would get. Again, I think I'm going to build the whole cage out of stone, even though aesthetically I would probably say build it out of wood, but it's probably wiser to build it out of stone. Okay, let's see. So here in the middle, you can have some large walls, and that kind of just fills it all in. It's quite a big space. Yeah, you can easily do a behemoth if you need a bigger entrance, but I think a lot of things can probably swim through these, because even Karchas and Gigas can walk through the 3x3 gap. So I assume for ocean tames it's probably going to be similar, that bigger creatures seem to be able to just kind of fit through them anyway. So yeah, you can get away with small things. So yeah, I think I'm going to skin it to look like wood at least. I feel like it fits more with the aesthetic that we have had going on. There we go. Okay, let's see. What does that look? Yeah, that fits the vibe quite well. There we go. So yeah, that would kind of be the entrance into the pen. Yeah. This is going to be a lot of ceilings. I don't know what my structure count is like for those people on official. I guess we already have a little bit of decorations. Not that high yet. It's not that high yet, but it's definitely going to get way higher if we do this all with ceilings. I guess we could just do with a bunch of cellar doors as a floor if you want to save on structures. I guess that is definitely an option. All right, let's see. So if we take out this stone all the way to the other side, we'll bring this all the way over. My parrot, yeah, my parrot is not with me at the moment, no. Okay, so roughly over here should be where I build this up again. Nope. It's one before that. Okay, one before. There we go. So that's going to be a pretty sizable ocean pen. Here we go. What's here we go? What are you talking about? Okay, so that's another one where we want to build this up. At least the water is quite clear here, so we can easily see what we're doing. There we go. Okay, well, I think at the very least, what you probably want to do is actually build these up all the way. Because, oh, can we actually snap from there? Because, yeah, I just think it's safer if we have a few extra snap points there where we actually are attached to the structure above, right? Like, it feels a little bit safer that way, that it's not just like one or two pillars holding this all up, but it's actually a few of these pillars that are doing the work. I feel like that is a reassuring thought. Okay, there we go. So we have the skeleton frame now of the entire water pen. I guess at least where you want to have... Oh, definitely not there. There we go. Yeah, at least where you want to have the cellar doors, I think you need the beams for it to snap to. There we go. I mean, it just makes sense to have these on both sides so that you could easily enter the pen at your leisure. There we go. I guess at least for the walls, it's going to be relatively easy to fill these in, because you can just use large walls, so that's going to save you a ton of structures if you do that. You're not going to have to do like a ton of walls. This is just a few walls now. And I guess I can't turn those into windows. That would have been nice. There we are. Yeah, I'm not entirely sure about the floor. If you really want to save on structures, I think using cellar doors probably going to be the best option. I just want to make sure that they closed, I guess. But that would be the only annoying part, because then if you dismount and you look at the cellar door, it might open up. On the other side, it does mean that the entire floor could be an entrance, basically. There we go. Okay, so we have both ends in place. Just want to make sure that we skin up this side. And then we Have a few of those in there. There we go. So yeah, there's what you could technically do for the floor. Well, there's a few ways. If you want to still keep it aesthetically pleasing, I guess what you would do is you can't really center it. That's well, you could, but you'd have to use quarters, and you don't want to do that. Technically, what you could do is you could have Behemoth on one side, and then you could have the large one next to it. So technically you could just have this as a floor, basically. But yeah, kind of annoying that it wouldn't be same. So I guess this would be the more satisfying way. Would like them to be the same. Nope, that's rotated. Nope. Why does it not? There we go. Nope. That's the wrong way. Oh, that's the right way. Okay, I need to look at the lines like that. Oh, but unfortunately it doesn't actually go all the way through. So let's meet in the middle then. I feel like otherwise we're gonna just use so many structures if I don't do this. Yeah, that's like a 4x4 that we can do with normal ceilings, I guess. Yeah, I feel like this is probably the best structure saving way to build a pen. There we go. Awesome. All right, so now all we need to do is fill in the gaps, and then we have a ocean pen for our water tames. Yeah, I feel like this might be the no-brainer move, because it saves you so many structures if you do this. So many. There we go. Awesome. Probably turn this into just the frontier skins, having the nice wooden floors. Yo, it's not that bad. See, we're still quite low structure count altogether. I mean, you could definitely fill out the floor with ceilings if you wanted to. Just gonna take you a lot longer to do. All right, and I think the rest of the size of the walls, I also just want to fill out with the large walls, because it's, again, just so much quicker. And I don't think we need extra entrances. Of course, if you really want to, you can definitely do it. For sure. But especially if we already have the cellar doors on the floor, like, you can easily get out underneath now. If you wanted to. There we go. I mean, safest bet is probably just making that all wood, right? Because I think it's going to be a little bit too busy if we use the wasteland skins on the large walls. So there we go. We have a big breeding box underneath, or pirate base, which is exactly what we want. There we go. I mean, this is a good size. You can do a bunch of breeding in here. Bunch of water tames. Keep them safe. And you won't even notice. You have your lovely base right on top. I'm quite happy with the way this is looking. I probably will do a little bit of tweaking before I do a tutorial for it. But just like a quick session here, I think we got something that looks quite nice. It needs a bit extra details, of course, around the platform, some lights. Gonna get into an actual base, adding all the utilities on the inside. Probably a little bit of a tower. But, yeah. I think that is a pretty good start for the build. Yeah, we definitely want to build some additions in the roof. And that way we can have some like light coming in, windows coming in. Although we have a few windows, of course. And in general, pretty spacious base already. Yeah, I'm liking the vibes. Again, I probably will do a little bit of tweaking before I do the tutorial, but I'm not mad about that. I think that looks quite good. I hope you guys like it so far. Let's just see. Yeah, I think having a little bit of a watchtower maybe on top, and then a few additions here just where we break out the sides to create some more chaos, some more randomness, something that looks even more like a little bit of a shanty town, I think will give us the perfect little pirate base. But again, for a quick little session, I think that's going to be quite a good result. I do think I'm gonna leave it at that because slowly but surely my room is turning into a furnace here. So I think that was all that I got in me. Also, I did already a bunch of building today, so I think for now I'm gonna leave it at that. But I'm definitely very happy with the result of this. I think this looks great. Can we get the skull in the background? We can. There, look at that. Nice ocean platform base in the making. More to come. But yeah, you could add windows, but then you just need more structures because the large walls, you can't skin that into a window. So you just need to have normal walls if you want to have a window down there. Or you just open, of course, one of these cellar doors. But then I guess things could get in. There we go. Let's see. Oh, lovely pirate ocean platform base. Yeah, that's a good start. Anyway, thanks so much for joining me, guys. Again, really hope you enjoyed this, and definitely feel free to leave your suggestions for builds on any of the videos, streams, or my Discord. There's a channel for it. And speaking of my Discord, might be a good time to join it because there is some giveaways going on for the Tides of Fortune DLC, for all the ships. Also got a giveaway going on for Dragontopia. Both of those are only for Steam keys, so it's only for PC. And then there's also a giveaway going on for the Drowned Souls custom cosmetics, which gives you a bunch of cool saddles. So yeah, there we go. Anyway, yeah, that's going to be it for today's stream. Thanks so much for joining me, guys. Don't forget to leave a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and I hope to see you soon for more builds. I've got a really nice build video coming Probably the showcase will probably be out very soon, and then the tutorial hopefully this weekend. And then for this build, I'll do some more tweaking, finish the build, and then again there will be a tutorial as soon as possible, and plenty more build videos, streams, and everything coming, of course, with the launch of Genesis. So yeah, I'll see you around. For now, goodbye.